On the road, the bread box, as many call it, is quick, smooth and easy to drive, but it doesn't feel very different to the previous generation, especially when driving in city conditions. On the highway, the character is a little bit more refined. With the old Wagon R, there was always this problem I used to have in terms of not getting enough feedback from the road, and that the power steering was just too light and almost too responsive, and the car's suspension and overall feel was a little toy-like. That was always the phrase I used with this car and also with the Zen Estilo. Well, sadly, those characteristics come through on the new generation as well. And here's the reason why I think we are being a little bit judgmental when we talk about the car in that respect. It's the fact that this is being compared now. You're comparing apples and oranges. You're comparing this to a car like, let's say, the Ford Figo or the i10. And that means that you're always going to find that this doesn't come up to the mark when it comes to handling and when it comes to just the overall drive feel. Which means that this is a good city runabout. In Japan too, that's the kind of proposition a Wagon R offers. It's a good city car. It's good for zipping about from point A to point B, and that too just for one or two people. It's not perhaps the best family car as such, because you do have now much better options in the market. So even in terms of drivability, it's very easy to use. The advantages are that it's easy to use, it's got a great tight turning circle, and it's fairly zippy and responsive. The engine is a little bit whiny, and I'm not thrilled about the sound damping, but as a city runabout, the Wagon R still works. Let's talk about the looks. And when you look at the car, well, it looks every bit the Wagon R because it reminds you of the old one. Overall shape, size, looks just like a bread box on wheels, like the old car did. But there are a few things that are a little bit different, so let's get closer to it. It's this big, thick chrome strip back here with the name Wagon R engraved into it that I feel is the biggest difference between the old car and this one, because otherwise the overall shape and feel is just like the old Wagon R. Even the way the tail lamp cluster has been done, this is a little bit grown up, it's a little bigger, but still you get the same sort of a style impression as you did from the older car. And well, same feel carries on onto the side, but the feeling of this being a taller car, well, it gets accentuated when you stand next to it on the side. It is a pretty tall car, and so the quintessential tall boy is, well, now the only one in the market like it. The roof rail helps add to that height and gives it a little bit of a sporty flair, because otherwise it's a very bland looking side. What helps the side styling is this little wheel arch that's a little flattened, but yes, adds a little muscle, and you can see this hood sort of comes down into the side, a little bit like what you have on the Indy car, let's say. Again, adds a little definition to the side profile of the car. Adding definition to the front is the big headlamp cluster. You've got fog lamps down here in the bumper, and it's a deep chin, similar sort of styling that we've seen on the Eco and on the Zen Estilo. And I am not a big fan of them, because what it does is, if you look at the car right from the front, it makes the car look a little too narrow. The headlamp is too big and the grille is too big. It makes the car look narrower than it really is. So I'm not sure that's a good thing, because in this space people want cars that have a little bit of presence. But having said that, it's a smartly done design. And here's that little blue element, the blue-eyed boy we were talking about earlier. Well, that's been thrown in there for good measure. It looks nice, especially in this car, because the body color is also blue.
Tubar.com